Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Farahim binti Shahrudin. I am from class N4 AM 1201D. The chapter that our group decided to point out for this project assignment is the selection process. For your information, employee is analogous as an asset for the company because without the employees, the company cannot run the business. Each of the employees has their own knowledge, skills, and ability that the company uses as a benefit and a chance in order to achieve their organization objective and have a good image and reputation, and also to increase their profit in their business. That's why each company must have human resource department to manage and identify the knowledge, skills, and ability of the employees that can contribute their specialty and ideas to the company. Furthermore, in order to success in the industry, the company have to find the right people for the right job. We unanimously agreed to choose Asia Berhad as the company that can support the fact and the theory that related to the chapter that we already decide for our project assignment. Asia Berhad is one of the most well-known aviation company in Southeast Asia, especially among the Malaysian. It is Malaysian multinational low-cost airline that the headquarters in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and also the largest airline in Malaysia with a famous slogan, "Now everyone can fly." AirAsia was established in year 1993 and start operate in 18 November 1996, that originally founded by DRB Highcom, but unfortunately AirAsia will not survive in industry as they're facing a debt crisis. On 2 December 2001, Jun A. Serdian Berhad, that founded by Tony Fernandez and Kamaruddin Maranon, purchased AirAsia with only RM1. Personally, we felt inspired with the history and background of AirAsia that successfully in becoming one of the best airline in the world. As we know, the success that AirAsia Berhad become and achieved till now is because their cabin crew and employees' contribution that was one of the major reasons in achieving their objective. With the great service and assist the passengers and great skill in overcome the problem, it gives a good image and reputation to all the passengers that come from various countries that contribute to the success of AirAsia Berhad.
Selection is the process of putting right people on the right job. It is procedure of matching organizational requirements with the skills and qualification of people. Effective selection can be done only when there is effective matching. By selecting best candidate for the required job, the organizational will get quality performance of employees. Moreover, organizational will face less of absenteeism and employee turnover problems. By selecting the right candidate for the required job, organization will also save time and money. Proper screening for candidates takes place during selection procedure. All the potential candidates who apply for the given job are tested, but selection must be differentiated from requirement. from recruitment, though these are two phases of employment process. Requirement is a positive process as it motivates more of candidates to apply for the job. It creates a pool of applicants. It is just sourcing of data, while selection is a negative process as the inappropriate candidates are rejected here. Requirement procedures of selection in staffing process. Selection involves choosing the best candidate with best abilities, skills, and knowledge for the required job. Once an adequate number of applicants have been sourced, the process of selection begins. Selection is the second step in the staffing process. This process involves choosing the candidates who best meet the qualification and have the greatest aptitude for the job. The main objective of this process is to match individual characteristics such as ability, experience, and so on with the requirements of the job. Thus, a systematic selection should be done in the organization to avoid wrong candidate selection and loss of time and money incur of this process. Wrong selection also leads to absenteeism and retrenchment. Selection is the process of carefully screening the candidates who offer themselves for appointment so as choose the most suitable persons for the job that are to be filled. It is the process of weeding out unsuitable candidates. The objective of selection process is to pick up the most suitable candidate who will meet the requirements of the job in an organization best. To find out which job applicant will be successful if hired. To meet this goal, the company obtains and assesses information about the applicants in terms of age, qualifications, skill, experience, and example. The needs of the job are matched with the profile of candidates. The most suitable person is then picked up after eliminating the unsuitable applicants through successive stages of selection process. How well an employee is matched to a job is very important because it is directly affecting the amount and quality of employees' work and overall performance and productivity of the organization. Moreover, to determine productivity, profitability, and stability the organization by making the right hiring decisions. Then, the selection gives managers an opportunity to assess potential employees' character and personalities. The objective of selection also to avoid any legal implications toward the company. If company were ignorant and don't consider the legal, it will cost an organization a great deal of money, time, and the company having difficulty in achieving their objectives. Other than that, to assess behavior, it is because every people have a various type of behavior, attitude, and background. For example, the company can conduct an interview like situational interview. The company will find out how the applicants handle a situation or problem when they have to encounter with an unexpected event. Furthermore, one of the objectives of the selection process is giving a chance for a company to observe potential employees' character and personality. It is because every year there are many employees who decide to retire, so the company can prepare a potential worker to replace the worker that planning to retire. The company can analyze a potential employee that has a good character and personality, like a good, charismatic, responsible, and calm when have a crisis. As a result, the company can appoint them to be future manager or director that will be replaced. Thank you.
Next is the environmental factors that influence the selection process. First is legal considerations. Legal consideration is related to rules and regulations and policies that were made by the government.
Every company have to abide the rules and regulations of the country where the company is located. If the company don't consider the government law, it will give a big impact to the company, such as it will give a bad reputation, bad image, decrease in profits, and also the company cannot achieve their objective. For example, if AirAsia want to hire a foreigner into their headquarters in KL, Malaysia, they have to abide the Employment Act 1968 that emphasize to foreign employment. So AirAsia have to make sure their foreign employees provide a document like visa, proper passport, permit work that as an evidence that their employees work and enter the country legally. So next, let's move on to the speed of the decision making. Speed of the decision making is depending on who holds the responsible in offering the job. In offering the job, the manager have to get a green light from the top management, and the top management might want to have a meeting among them first, and it will take a quite long time. So the selection process in offering the job will be quite slow. But if the top management give the authority to the manager, the selection process in offering the job will be faster. For example, AirAsia headquarters give the authority to recruitment team in offering the job to the potential candidates that successfully passes all the stage. Applicant pool is one of the environmental factors that influence the selection process. Applicant pool is depending on the numbers of applicants. For example, if there were a small amount of applicants for the job vacancy, the selection process will be less stricter and more tolerate because the company have a limited option. But if there were a big amount of applicants for the job vacancy, the selection process will be stricter and less tolerate. Besides that, the company will take a long time to decide, and the company have a chance to find the best one among the candidates because they have a lot of options. Based on the statistics, the numbers of workers in AirAsia in year 2019 is more than year 2018, which means the selection process in year 2019 is quite harder than year 2018. So let's move on to the probationary period. Probationary period usually took a long time and commonly lasting less than 4 months. Probationary period is defined as the period of time for confirmation service that usually provide for the part-time job and permanent job. Probationary period give the employer a space to decide whether the new workers is suitable for the job or not, and to monitor and analyze the new workers in doing their job and in office environment. For example, in AirAsia, all the cabin crew required to take the SEP training, which means safety equipment and procedure training. And once they completed the training, they will be put in probationary period. If they perform well in probationary period, the selection in upgrading to the permanent workers will be faster.
The first step is preliminary interview. Preliminary interview follows screening, like screening roughly. The purpose of the preliminary interview is to eliminate unsuitable or unqualified candidates from the selection process. In screening, unqualified candidates are eliminated on the basis of information given in the application form, whereas preliminary interview rejects misfit for reason which did not appear in the application form. For example, the height required for a Agile cabin crew is a minimum of will be 100 and maximum will be 170 cm. If your height doesn't meet their requirement, immediately they will reject you on the spot. So, before attending the interview, you should check out your exact height. If it's below 175 cm, should not attend for interview. New care needs to be taken to ensure that the weeding out process. Due care needs to be taken to ensure that weeding cut process does not lead to the elimination of desirable candidate. Obviously, preliminary interview should be conducted by someone who inspires confidence, who is genuinely interested in people, and whose judgment at judging of applicants is fairly reliable. Besides that, the interviewer should be courteous, kind, and receptive. He or she should not appear brusque or impatient, especially for the cabin crew of Air Asia, because they always meet and manage a wide variety of passengers types from around the world. Step 2. Review of application or resume. A document containing a summary of work experience and relevant education for the specific job search. Resume should be short and concise and should not be too long, usually in 1 or 2 pages only. It therefore contains only direct experience relevant of Air Asia cabin crew. This application form you can print out the Air Asia carrier website, or you can get it during the interview original and photocopy higher education certificate. Third, recent update resume, which nice professionals look. And the fourth, original and copy of your IC, 1 copy of the latest full body postcard size photo with white background. After submitting all the documents, they will check out all the documents and you will be given a number and wait for them to call you for the next round. Step 3. Employment or selection test. For the step 3, which is employment or selection test, there is 5 types of tests, where the first one is called cognitive aptitude test. Cognitive aptitude tests are the tests that determine general reasoning ability, memory, vocabulary, and numerical ability. In this test is to ensure that some of required advantage or capabilities are present in the employee to be selected. For example, to apply to be an airline pilot, Air Asia will set out to test the pilot through skill in commander's crew briefing and be aware of all relevant aeronautical and meteorological, and meteorological information, as well as the relevant papers documenting the aircraft technical status and its anticipated load. The second one is psychomotor or physical abilities tests, are tests to measure strength, coordination, and dexterity. For example, all of the cabin crew must be in speaking or communication because they will require to serve the passenger. Next is job knowledge test. The test designing to measure a candidate's knowledge of the duties of the job for which he or she applying. If the candidate wants to apply for the pilot position in Air Asia, he must hold a valid ICAO MTPL certified by CAA Malaysia. Third is personality test. This is to identify the candidate's soft skill like leadership or agreeableness, conscientious, emotional stability, and openness to experience. The fifth is genetic test to determine whether the person carries the gene mutation for certain disease, colon cancer, breast cancer, heart disease, but this test doesn't have in Malaysia because of the cost is too higher. Step 4. Employment interview. According to Mondi and Noah, a goal-oriented conversation in which an interview and an application and applicant supposedly exchange information. The four between the content of interview. The first one is occupational experience, academic achievement, interpersonal skills, and personal qualities. All of this depends on the scope of job that the candidates apply. Next is method of interview. There is four methods of interview. The first is one-to-one interview, which applicant meet one-to-one with the interviewer. In AASIA, they will be asked to sit for 15 minutes for your English test. Consists of 25 objective questions. Once you pass the third stage, although it's a simple round, it depends on you. They will just give you some basic grammar test. The questions can be a little tricky, so the candidates need to read carefully and then answer the questions. Next, for the method of group interview. Several candidates will interview by one more interviewer. Basically, for in AASIA, the interviewer will be divided into groups and will be asked to perform. Otherwise, they can tell you to do whatever you want, such as dancing, acting, singing, etc. In this stage, it's basically to observe how you work in a group to make it simple yet presentable and fun. Besides that, board interview or panel interview is this method. The applicant would be interviewed by few panels simultaneously and combine their rating to make up the total score.
If you don't start a conversation, you won't have one.
The first one, types of interview. There is four types of interview. First, unstructured interview. Unstructured interview or a non-instructional interview is an interview in which the questions are not arranged in advance and are not planned. This conversation allows spontaneity and questions to develop during the interview, which is based on the responses of the people being interviewed. Next, structured interview is a conversation where an interviewer asks an interviewee set questions in a certain journey and living family. The interviewer will ask work flexible hours. So the candidate must answer the questions well because from there our behavior will be judged. Last, situational interview, which the candidate must to answer hypothetical situation that created by interviewer to see how the candidate can handle or manage the situation. Step 5. Reference checks and background investigation. Reference checks and confirmation from an individual who knows the applicant to ensure that company is selecting the right person for the right job. It involves obtaining data from various sources, including previous employers and besides and business associate. Next, this reference check very important for safety or other jobs that require reliability and attention to detail, especially for the big companies which involve international travel, because the risk will be higher, such as drug trafficking cases. Background investigation also to check and verify the candidate's background, information and reference on many aspects, such as criminal record,
Not very good with
drug
people.
smuggling, cheating,
If you don't start a conversation,
history,
you won't have
or
one.
legal eligibility of employment with hiring legal citizens employees. Step 6. Selection decision medical examination. This is the process by which doctors investigate a patient's body for symptom disease. It is generally following the taking of medical history, means account about symptoms as experienced by the patient.
Not very
This
good with
process
people.
is also essential to protect the rights of the company and employees together. Any infectious disease like COVID-19 and variant Delta variant among cabin crew and staff. Next, the test exists is determining whether an applicant is physically fit to perform the work, so that all work can matters in each division or department can run smoothly as scheduled. Last, such an examination will protect the employer from workers' compensation claims that are not valid because the injuries of illnesses were present when the employer hired. Step 7. Job offer. This is the last step. After
If you
complete
don't
every
start a
step, usually they will let you know that it will take within 2 or 3 weeks for you to get an email if you succeed or not. Once you receive the email, you will be asked to go through a health check with a fixed venue and time. So you need to check your email regularly, including your spam mailbox. The speed of decision making is whether it take a long or
not
short
very
time.
good with people.
It depends on
If
who
you
were
don't start a
responsible in
conversation.
offering the job to the potential applicant. For example, to offer the job, HR manager have to get a green light or a consent from the top management, and the top management might want to have a meeting first among them. As a result, the decision-making process might be delayed and become slow unless the top management give the authority to HR management to offer the job.
To bring this discussion to a close, an organization's success can be aided by effective recruiting and selection. Both internal and external sources of employees should be examined during the recruitment process. Organization will be more likely to recruit a diverse set of candidates as a result of this. In addition, we like to highlight the report's positive aspect. With this important process, which is selection process, can lowering operation expenses by hiring the best person for the task. By saving the company's budget, other facilities can be improved and provide a better service. Moreover, with the studies that have been done, this found that people are more likely to hire employment if they offered with a good service. By adopting the concept customer is a king, the number of customers will line up to use the service, as a result increasing the number of the new employees and raising the company's revenue. Environmental factors such as legal consideration in selection progress will facilitate work between foreign countries or within the country, because the laws that have been agreed and complete, it can ensure the smooth running of the work. As a result, the company itself can adding partners in the company from a wide variety of larger companies. The second factor of environment is speed of decision making. A quick decision made can determine next journey and can avoid any problems that will occur in the future. Moreover, with a quick response can facilitate every transaction by various parties. This step can enhance the progress in the company to be better. Thank you. That's all from me.